Well, here we are. Welcome back. And without further ado, we'll do a little inspection on these some of these tubes. So we're going to get right into the meat of the matter here, the pentagrid converter. Um, I've removed the ground lead off the top here, and I pried this out already. And you see it's a Westinghouse, so 7A. Being eaten. I think this is a little newer than 1946. It still does say on it 1A7 GT. I don't know if you can pick that up from the glare here. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But in all intents and purposes, being a little dusty and this discoloration on the bottom is very normal. In fact, they usually came from the factory that way. This one doesn't look too bad. You see there's a bit of blackness around the edge here. When these tubes get old, this will completely turn black. What this is, it's called getter material. And when they were building these things, they never expected to have a perfect vacuum inside. In fact, they kind of designed them knowing that there might be impurities inside the vacuum, which would impede on the way things move. This being a pentagrid means there's 5 grids inside here. And maybe if we clean this off a little, we can see maybe at least 2 of them. Let's see. There's one on the outside of that, inside of that shield there. 2, 3, 4. And on the other side, there should be another grid in here. So there's 5 grids inside here, and they all talk to each other. They allow electrons to flow depending on what the gate. You could think of electrons like water. And this particular tube interacts with our tuning capacitor. Now, there's 2 sides to this tuning capacitor, the little one and the big one. The little one tunes the antenna, and the big one tunes the oscillator. The oscillator is what actually does the job of selecting what frequency you're on. And this here changes the oscillator. Now, in today's circuitry, you need about 5 or 6 transistors to do the job of this. The benefit of this is, well, this one will operate on, relatively low voltage. You got to remember that other tubes, they operate in the range of about 500 volts. So 90 volts is actually really quite low, and it doesn't consume a lot of power. So this one looks pretty good. And the getter material, I was getting to that there too. So in the factory, they would actually, when they're assembling this into the tube, they actually paint a bit of this it's a material. It's called a getter, and what it does over time, it actually absorbs the impurities, and this turning black means it's been absorbing whatever impurities were in the metals or the mica. I don't know if this one has a piece of mica in it. Some of them do, some of them don't. Here, let's take another one out. I know these ones for sure have mica in it. And it's just, in the days before plastics, because you got to remember the bottom of this is made out of Bakelite. And let's pull off the shield here. These do put out a bit of radiation, RF, radio frequency radiation. And they are subject to, rough handling. So if you handle these rough, you can upset the apple cart, so to speak. So there's a piece of mica in there. And over time, if you get mica too hot, it goes all kind of flowery and opaque in color. So this one doesn't look like it's been overheated. In fact, there's a bit of heat at the bottom, but that could be from the manufacture process. This one actually looks fairly new too. General Electric. Yeah, no, it's a exact replacement. So none of these tubes appear to be original, so that's a good sign. I don't have to go on a wild goose chase looking for tubes. But we'll clean this one up, and the contacts all look good. So, but yeah, there's mica back in the days before synthetic insulators were used. Used to mine this stuff, mica. So that's that. Let's not drop that. And yeah, so I'm gonna take these out and I'll clean them, and we'll get on to the next step here, which is removing the knobs. And I'll remove the circuit board here, and then we'll flip it upside down and see if there's any crusty surprises.